Hey everyone, yesterday morning I did some accuracy testing with the Benjamin Fortitude in 22 caliber, and before I get to that I wanted to share my final thoughts with you all, since I know that not a lot of people want to watch all the way through an entire video. This gun is pretty impressive when you consider the shot count and how quiet this thing is. This is probably the ideal PCP air rifle for someone who lives in a really dense urban area. If you've got houses on houses on houses in your neighborhood, and the biggest concern you have is whether or not you're going to disturb your neighbors and cause problems, this is the gun. All right, I am telling you, there is no way, I don't care how thin the walls are, they're going to hear this gun if you're outside plinking. Now, if they're outside, they might hear it, but to be honest with you, they probably won't even notice it. It's going to be one of those like soft noises that, unless they're thinking about it or it's just totally quiet and there's nothing else to hear outside, they're not going to notice this gun. It's that quiet, and the report is not sharp. It's more of a thud, so that's nice. It just doesn't catch your attention very well. The shot count, they say you can get up to 200 shots. Based on what I did, I don't think that's true. Not really. I mean, you probably get 200 shots off of it, but I don't think that, you know, anything past 150 shots on the lowest setting is really going to be regulated. That's based on my experience. I've been shooting it mostly on the middle setting because I found that's the most efficient. Like, you're gonna get the most energy out of a full tube of air by shooting on the middle setting. And I think I got like 90 shots probably before I fell off the reg. They said I should get, I want to say it was 120. I didn't get that, but 90 shots is still a lot of shots nonetheless. So, you know, don't be turned off by that. It's got the power you need to put down small game. I've taken 3 squirrels and 1 bird. I got 1 squirrel and 1 bird on video, and I'm going to actually put that at the end of this video if you want to skip there and see. Overall, great gun. I recommend it for a beginner or someone who just needs a really quiet air rifle that they don't want to have to add an extra moderator to keep it quiet. All right. It's not super accurate. Now, that's not to say it's not accurate. I don't by any means want to turn anyone away from this gun by that statement. Inside of 40 yards, this thing will do just fine for you. My JSB shot really well out to 35 yards, and so well that I'm sure, I didn't test exactly 40, but I'm sure they would have done just fine at 40. It's when I stepped it out to 50 that the group started to open up significantly, and I didn't like that. So I'm not going to shoot this gun out to 50 yards, but I also don't shoot very many shots past 40 yards anyway, just because of the size of my yard. It's actually 40 yards wide and about 30 yards deep. So it's not a big deal to me. And it shouldn't be like, especially if you're in an urban area, like you're not going to have a huge yard anyway. And if you're going to be woods walking, you'll probably be fine. I don't know any time I've ever gone hunting in the woods and had past 40 yards of just a clear shot at an animal that I saw. It just doesn't happen often. So, you know, do with that what you will. Overall, I think it's a great purchase for 300 bucks. You can't go wrong, really. And I've enjoyed shooting it. I'm gonna continue shooting it, and here in a few weeks maybe I'll upload another video of anything else I found about it. The only complaint I had from the very beginning, 2 complaints I should say. One was I thought my P-rod clips would fit, and I was really excited about that because I've got like 5 of them, and I was like, wow, I've got clips for days. But the P-rod clips are thicker and they don't slide in here, and so one of the other things I noticed is you can shoot a poly mag out of a P-rod because the clip will take it. You can't shoot a poly mag out of here, it's too long. Not that I personally would shoot a poly mag anyway, but if that's your expectation, know that up front. You won't be able to fit longer pellets into this clip, so stick to just the standard like round nose or hollow points. Then the bolt was giving me problems at first, and I was kind of turned off by it, but I'm glad I stuck with it. About 100 shots in, it really started to loosen up, and now it cycles just fine. Like, I have no problems clicking it back all the way. What was happening was I would pull it back and it just wouldn't quite click like it had been doing. And then what I'd end up doing is, you know, your muscle memory kicks in and you just kind of pull it back and push it forward. And I've loaded a pellet, and then I've got to pull it back, remove the mag, put it forward, take my shot, pull it back, put the mag back in, so I'm not double loading. It was kind of annoying. It's not a big deal, but nobody likes doing that. But after about 100 pellets, it really stopped doing that, and I didn't have any issues. I haven't had any issues since. So if you have that experience as well, you know, don't just return the gun because you hate it. Just keep pushing through, and that problem should go away. Other than that, I've got no complaints on this gun, honestly. It's got all the power I need. It's got the shot count I need, and it's got the accuracy I need. And if you are not going to shoot past 40 yards, which most of us don't, great purchase, honestly. So I recommend getting one, and if you do, have fun. Thanks. Hey everybody, I'm sitting here with the Benjamin Fortitude again. At this point, I've put probably 150 pellets, or if not 150, really close to it, through this gun. So now the barrel should be broken in, the regulator should be settled, and now I'm going to shoot groups. On my last video, I said that the JSBs were shooting better. At the time they were. I'm hoping that they still do, just because I have a lot of faith in JSBs. But also there's a part of me that hopes the Crossmans shoot better just because they're cheaper, you know, and we all like cheap pellets that shoot really well, right? So anyway, here we are. I'm going to shoot groups at right now 20 and 35 yards. If they both shoot really well at 35 yards, I'm going to step it out even further, which I expect them to. So we'll do that. Now that it's all broken in, we'll get a real idea of what this is going to shoot better, the Crossman 14.3s or the JSB 15.89s. So here we go. All right, so I've got a target right there at 20 yards, and then I've got a target out there at 35 yards. And you'll notice on each one I've got 2 dots set to the left and right side. So on the left side I'm going to shoot Crossmans, and on the right side I'm going to shoot JSBs. If these shoot so poorly that the groups are mixing up, then I'll move to 2 targets. But based on what I did last time, I think both of them should shoot really tight groups, or at least tight enough groups, that we shouldn't have an issue shooting both groups on the same target. So here we go. I'm going to do 10 shot groups on both. Alright, so now I'm shooting the 15.89 JSBs at 20 yards. Alright, so now I'm going to be shooting the Crossmans at 35 yards. And see how they do. Alright, so now I'm shooting the JSB 15.89s at 35 yards. All right, guys, so I just shot those groups. Here's the target from 20 yards away. You can see how the crossmans did okay. There's one flyer there, and there's kind of like two separate groups there. You know, that must have just been, you know, like 14.3 grains versus 14.1 grains or something along the lines of that. Not a huge deal, though. They're still pretty close. I'd say that's still hunting worthy. Over here, the JSBs did a super tight group. These marks up here at the top right corner, those are actually where the pellets were bouncing back out of the can. They were hitting the metal behind and ricocheting back out. So all those shots are all right here. And they were super tight group. These are all 10-shot groups, by the way. So, you know, in 10 shots, I'd typically expect at least one flyer, but none whatsoever. And then we move out to 35 yards, and the crossmans definitely didn't fare near as well. So there you have that. Make your own decision on that. You know, maybe if you were to weigh them out, you'd get way tighter groups. I'm sure you would, actually, but that's not something I'm going to do with crossman pellets. Over here we got the JSBs. They still had a pretty tight group. We had one or two little flyers there. Other than that, they still stayed super tight. So I'm not going to shoot the crossmans any further out, but I will shoot the JSBs out, and we'll see what happens then. All right, so this is 50 yards out. And I'm shooting the JSB 15.89s, and we'll see what I can do. And that's all. Alright, so these are JSB 18.13s I'm about to shoot here, because that group was so disappointing on the 15.89s. And I originally wrote these ones off because I figured they'd be too heavy for this gun, but I figured we might as well just give it a shot at 50 yards and see how they fare. Hopefully they'll make it onto the target. I turned it so we have more drop room there. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Well, it's on the target. Not too far apart. It's not looking great. Well, those tee shots are touching. Okay, maybe this isn't going to turn out to be so bad, guys. That's all. All right, so here's this target I shot at 50 yards. I used the 15.89s right here. Obviously, you can see that group's just not that impressive. So I would stay inside of probably 40 yards with those pellets if you're going to use this gun. Obviously, conduct your own testing, so you'll be sure of whatever you do, but that's from my experience. Then I originally wrote these pellets off, but these are the 18.13s, I think. And they shot far better. Still not super great. I mean, if we wrote off these two outside ones as flyers, the rest of these are just at an inch at 50 yards. Not a fantastic group, but I suppose doable, depending on what exactly you're trying to do. I mean, you could certainly shoot a Coke can with these things at 50 yards. So, you know, do it that way you will. Anyway, I don't know what those are flying. They're probably going about, if I had to guess, probably 710, 700 FPS, but I haven't chroned them, and I probably won't, just because I'm not really going to use those pellets with this gun. I'll probably stick with the JSBs, since most of my shots are inside of 40 anyway. That's probably 80+% of my shots I ever take are inside of 40 yards, so I'll just use the 15.89s. So anyway, yeah, there you have it. Not a bad shooting gun. I certainly wouldn't say buy this gun for its, you know, phenomenal accuracy or anything, but it is not a bad gun by any means with accuracy. So anyway, for 300 bucks, oh, that's not the right gun. It's over there. That's my Crossman Custom. One of my favorite guns, like, ever. It's super accurate, and it's just a blast to shoot. Anyway, I recommend getting one of those too. But yeah, these are pretty sweet. These 20-yard and 35-yard groups, they're pretty sweet with the Benjamin Fortitude and JSB 15.89 pellets. So there you have it.